Hello, I'm going to be going over my three Odysseys that I learned in IDS 106. And first of all, I want to apologize that this video was not made in Adobe. Adobe was not working on my computer and the microphone kept cutting out and it was very frustrating. So after about an hour, I decided to use iMovie, so I hope that's not a problem. But anyway, so my three Odysseys were being a real estate agent, a buyer, and a musician. And my theme code was ECI, which is enterprising, conventional, and investigative. So I'm going to start with being a real estate agent, and yeah, let's get into it. So to start off, I believe that being a real estate agent would be a pretty good fit for my work view and my life view because I like the concept of working for commission and having the incentive behind it. And also, I tend to find myself to be a pretty persuasive person, so I think that I definitely would be good in that field. And the one thing I don't think that I would like about it is that you don't really get weekends off, and it is a really, really busy practice, but I think it would be worth it, and I would enjoy selling properties that I could actually physically view instead of just making a salary, if that makes sense. So within real estate, it is really important to have good people skills and to be well-spoken, be good at meeting people, and overall just be good at leaving a first impression. You have to look put together when you are interviewing potential buyers. And overall, it's just really, really important that you are a kind person and that you can handle stressful situations and go with the flow. And there are no educational requirements to being a real estate agent. You do need a real estate license if you are going to become an actual agent, but there's no college that's necessary for that. A prototype experience that could be really useful for me to get into this field would be working at Young America down here. I've been thinking about that for a while, and I have an application for it. I've just been very busy with school, but I definitely want to start working at Young America as a leasing agent because then I'll gain a lot of valuable knowledge that can help me later on in life. And also Jay Castro, who I interviewed for this class, that was what he started with, and now he makes roughly six figures, and he is 23 years old. So obviously Jay is the one person that I could interview and that I did interview, and my conversation went really well with him. He taught me a lot about the work-life balance, what to expect, if he's able to go out on weekends and, how he has to always stay by his phone and just what is expected of him as an agent. He has to meet with clients all the time, and he always has to be on his best behavior, being polite, being kind. And he says that it requires a lot of people skills along with just a lot of paperwork behind the scenes that nobody really ever talks about. But yeah, my conversation went really well with him, and it honestly has pushed me to want to become a real estate agent even more. So my next Odyssey is to be a buyer, and buyer isn't really a descriptive term, but when I think of buyer, I think of primarily a real estate buyer. I'm obviously very interested in the real estate sphere. So I think that being a buyer could be good for my personality because I would really love the research that goes behind it, looking for good deals, looking for good properties to buy. And I think that I would enjoy being able to just do research at home. And, obviously you have to get started out with a certain amount of money so that you can start investing into properties. But as soon as I was able to accumulate that money, I would really enjoy it a lot because I would be working for myself, which is a big thing. So the skills that are necessary to be a buyer are mainly just a lot of patience because if deals were very prevalent that could make money, everybody would be doing it. And it can get very tedious from what I've heard. And also just the ability to invest non-emotionally. If I invest in something, it has to be smart. It can't be because I like the property or for whatever other reason other than it is profitable. This field also does not require any educational prerequisites, which is very nice. The main thing that you really need is just to have enough money to get started. And I do have a prototype experience that could potentially be lined up with a real estate firm named Caskey. I met the owner. His name is Jake Pence, and I got his card. And his company offers about 10 internships every summer. So I could definitely apply for that in the future. And what I would mainly be doing is just handling paperwork, getting clients to sign paperwork and just learning the ins and outs of the business end of it and the laws that relate to real estate. Jake Pence is also the person that I would interview for this Odyssey because he is, I believe, 24 and is already a millionaire and owns his own firm. And I have his card. So I could reach out to him and, send him an email, maybe get on a phone call with him for a few minutes and just pick his brain. And that would be extremely beneficial and useful. And it's very lucky that actually ended up happening to me and I ended up meeting him. So my final Odyssey is as a musician. This is probably the least likely out of all of them because musicians don't get paid well, but it was very high in my survey. And I could not ignore it because I do believe it would be a lot of fun and I would enjoy it a lot. So I would love to be a musician in terms of work view and life view just because I'd love to be my own boss and I like creating things for people that people enjoy. So I think that I would really enjoy it. Plus, I wouldn't have to go into an office. I would be able to work at home and, I would be on my own schedule, which I would really appreciate and enjoy. So the skills that are necessary to be successful as a musician are definitely perseverance, determination, and just being artistic in general because it's a very competitive field. Not a lot of people make it. So if you want to have any hope of making it, you definitely have to grind really hard and just persevere through the times that you're not successful at the beginning. And you also have to be obviously pretty artistic because you want to make something that other people enjoy and, sounds good. So one prototype experience that I could complete to explore being a musician is releasing music on SoundCloud or any other streaming service, just because that is the perfect way to get your foot in the door. And that is how a lot of artists start. And one individual that I could interview to explore being a musician is my friend Chris, because he has already released music on SoundCloud and he has actually had a decent amount of success. He's had over 10,000 views on his profile over the past year or two. So yeah, I could definitely interview him because him and I are very close. So overall, those are my 3 Odysseys and how I'm going to attempt to do all of them and pursue all of them. So thank you for listening and have a great rest of your day.